in front of the herd, just to indicate that we mustn't come any closer.
The collared one?
The collared one, yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, it's been very, very interesting.
Matriarch or one of the senior ones?
Absolutely, yeah. It seems like it, at least. Yeah, no, it has been. So, to answer the question, it's definitely a female. And with regards to the purpose of it, there's a lot of research done in the Kruger National Park, and you're looking at around about, well, the park itself, Peter, is 200 and it's 2.5 million, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah, in that region, it's said to, well, it's doubling now with Mozambique
Absolutely,
and all that coming into it. So huge.
Yeah, so 2.5 million hectares. Yeah.
Marco, sorry to interrupt you there. Just also wondering about this female. You guys have been part of the elephant capture. I know you have, Peter. Putting that collar actually on that elephant, I was wondering, because the first time I actually saw it was, I think it was the first time or one of the times, was where Rexon was on drive, and they found them close to Buffelshoek Dam. Actually, beautiful sighting heading towards, I think you were on camera that day.
That's right, yeah.
Beautiful sighting. They all came down on the southern side of Buffelshoek Dam, and Rexon went to the northern side, and we filmed them from across the dam. But just before that, I realized that this the specific female with the collar on, she was, I don't know if she was a little bit more aggressive towards the vehicle. I don't know what you guys think, but I just kind of thought that this whole capturing, I mean, it must be darting the elephant and then capturing it. Do you think that could be kind of part of why she could have maybe be a little bit more aggressive or a little bit skeptic towards vehicles or towards humans?
It's a good point. It's a good question, Jan. But it wouldn't be fair to just label it on that. I think due to the collar, we can pretty much assume that she's a Kruger Park based. Well,
it's been done by Kruger.
Yeah, and more than likely done by Kruger National Park.
Yeah, and most likely the distress you're mentioning, Jan, and again I didn't see it, but most likely it's just that they hadn't seen vehicles for quite a while. They've probably been inside Kruger, they've been drinking at places, and they probably just hadn't seen many vehicles for a while. And you've probably found since then she's relaxed. Every time you've seen the group, they've probably gotten better again. So,
absolutely, yeah.
It's unlikely. Also, that collar, from seeing it before, it's been on probably for quite a while. With elephants, because of the size of the collar, they can put bigger batteries in, so those collars can run for anything up to 4 or 5 years. Okay. With your cats and so on, the collars are just physically smaller because of the size of the animal. So the batteries aren't as big. But this is a little bit long-winded into more the sort of animal management and research more specifically, which is actually what it's about. The same as we sometimes see vultures with rings on their legs. It's all part of a research program just to see movements and so on.
But yeah, it's interesting to see, and it's a very valid point about how she responds to our vehicles. Is most likely that she's unfamiliar with the vehicles. But a fascinating part about elephants is, and I'm sure you would agree with me, Peter, is that when you do see elephants and when you approach elephants in a vehicle, in a game drive vehicle, you tend to be able to approach males a lot closer than you do when it comes to females. It's never a fixed rule, but females, with the protection of youngsters, they will respond a lot sooner to our presence than males were. However, that's not always a guarantee. We had a question coming in from Marilyn, and Stacey also made a point about that. Alex and I were out on drive a few days ago, actually I think it was on Friday, and we had a fairly exciting encounter with a bull elephant on must, in a sexually heightened state, a lot of testosterone, so a little bit more aggressive than in the regular parts of his life, you could say. But generally you can approach males a lot closer. Would I be wrong in presuming that?
I don't think you'd be wrong. I might not necessarily agree with you, which is part of the fun of this kind of conversation, I guess. No, Marcus, it certainly is. I mean, just as a sort of a general thing, males are easier to approach, I think, just because they're typically solitary. They move around a lot more. They encounter a lot more variety of other species of animals as well. And this is a long discussion which will play out maybe over the next few years of fires. But with breeding herds, I think it's just a huge part of it, and this is something that I'm quite passionate about, not just about elephants, but in terms of how people behave around elephants rather than elephants around people. Is breeding herds is just approached differently, I think. You know, with bulls, you can sort of cruise right up to them and sort of say how's it, and they can tell you what they're feeling, and you can quite quickly get an idea of what's going on. But with females, because they've got a whole herd and a family structure to look after, they've got little babies and cousins and maybe some visitors at the time and maybe a musk bull that's giving them grief. You've just got to sort of ease in a lot more. They've got to feel secure with your behavior before you're going to feel secure with their behavior. I think that's probably the main thing for me that's different with breeding herds. But yeah.
Have you had any encounters, Jan? Because you've been out there quite a few times on the road. Have you had any interesting encounters with bull elephants?
Marco, actually, when we started talking about elephants, I actually thought about an encounter. I didn't have it here, but I had it in Botswana. I'm not kidding, it's a very long story, but basically what happened was I was sitting also exactly similar to this, just a little bit earlier in the day, sitting alone in a campfire, and along came an elephant. It was a very old elephant bull. He had only one tusk, and